Look at these dumplings. Look at them.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Are you okay? In your neck of
When we dry them up, too cold. Not go too deep, you know. Yeah, you have to watch Joe, you know. Our troops, see there? Apple cider vinegar and our troops. Come up right, make them get saturated in the gravy and all of that.
On today's episode of the Jamaican Cooking Journey, I'll be sharing with you for, I don't know what time, but we have a lot of new people here and I want to say welcome and thank you. We're going to be perfecting our fried dumplings in this very video. So, for your basic fried dumpling dough, I have in here flour, I have baking powder, and I have salt. Flour, baking powder, and actually I'm using bread flour. Back in the days when I was a child in Jamaica, we never have not name all-purpose flour. We only had like counter flour, if I can remember. And there are people here who might be clocking my age and maybe a little older. We had the good old counter flour, rusty flour. But I think now bread flour equals counter flour or baking flour in Jamaica. It has more gluten than all-purpose flour. All-purpose flour is like a more refined thing. So I'm using some bread flour to make this dough. So the very first thing I will always implore you to do is to sift those three ingredients together. You want to sift them right through. In there, while doing that, you will trap some extra hair in your dough, and also it traps some extra air in the flour, and also it will mix the three ingredients. While sifting, it does the mixing. So you don't have to worry about stir around with sift and all them something again. Now, room temperature water. Clean hands, okay? And we're gonna proceed. A recipe will be posted on my website. I have just a few little things to fine tune to get that website link up for you. A perfect fried dumpling recipe will be posted with the proportionate measurements of ingredients followed by some step-by-step method. I'm giving you here the tutorial, and if you are watching, you can also do it. If you try to get it and you never get it, try make sure you have some baking powder that works. Oftentimes people are using baking powder that doesn't work. Make sure take care how you store your baking powder. If you have your baking powder somewhere it just leave up, it might just lose the strength. Try to keep your baking powder in your refrigerator closely covered and monitor how long you have your baking powder. Now let's get rolling. I don't really make a well, I don't do that. I just treat it as regular dough. So I'm going to be putting in some water. And you don't want to put all this water at once. It is so hard to tell you how much water. Okay? But when given the recipe, I'll have to. But you just go a little at a time. You don't throw all the water at once. And even sometimes when you get the direct amount of water, you don't throw all of it one time. Because you might not need so much. Or sometimes you might not need, you might need all or a little more. Because the flour or the dough sometimes, it depends on where you are, the temperature, and all of them something. Alright, so you want to get that water. Some people say they use milk. I've never used milk, but if you want to use milk, you use it. This is the dough that I use to get my fried dumplings all the time. So you make sure say all of that, the water there, the flour map it up already. Then you proceed to throw a little more. Always too, if you're a beginner, or whether you're a beginner, yes or no, make sure you don't, if it's just a small amount of flour you have, try to leave a little, that in case the dough goes too soft, you'll have it to get it back all firm up. You know, the best of us sometimes is spoil the dough. I'm telling you, I was doing something, I think a few days ago, and I was just paying attention to something else. and I accidentally threw more than the amount of water and I didn't have any more flour left. But being the person that I am in the kitchen, you know what I did? My hands were sticking to the dough like how I was making that bread and my hands were sticking. But with my expertise, I didn't have any more flour. You know what I did? I kneaded and kneaded until the dough became so moist. I kneaded all of that moisture in and the dough mopped it in. But a lot of people don't know that. So, if you're not so keen on that, make sure you have some flour left back and careful how you throw the water. Those are some little tips. You can get your flour, your dough all too soft, but if you know a thing or two and you don't have no more flour, you know what to do. Just continue kneading. That's all you got to do. A little more work, of course. And at this point, yes, some part of the dough soft, softer than some. So you make sure you get it all in. Whilst you're doing that, you're trying to take up all that is in the bottom. Now, you're to mix the dough until the dough is at the consistency that it picks up the dried flour in the bottom. Let us try to do this. Giving us a hard time to pick it up. Yes, it's giving a hard time. Just a little tap. My mother would do something like this. And if you know anything about that, talk to me. And I still think I went too much. But look here. Let's work this dough. You see it's mushy? Let's work it. Clean your hands. We're going to work it until it clean our hands and becomes real soft. At this point, you don't need to throw any more water. Somebody said, Lord, bring a little more flour. Because the dough is spoiled. If you so think it's spoiled and you want to get a little more, you can get a little more. But I'm going to knead this one until it gets really soft. Just like I did with the bread, it's sticking to my hands. But I'm going to knead and knead and knead until it stops sticking to my hands. If that should ever happen to you though, use a little extra flour. Okay? You see it's becoming, look at this. I want to show you what is happening. I wonder if you are seeing my hands right now. I haven't cut the camera. I have not cut the clip. You saw how murky it was on my hands? And look here. All you got to do is just knuckle in. Just do some knuckle in. Look at how it's clean in my hands. Clean all around. So, you would have thought that, oh, the dough is spoiled. But it's not spoiled. You could have a little flour, as I say, yes, and you need it in. But you could still just work your flour just a little more. Working it in a little more with that extra moisture without more flour gives you a better texture fried dough. Look at it. You see it? Sticking to my hands. Look at this. I still haven't cut that clip. You're kneading in, kneading in, kneading in, cleaning your hands. Make sure your hands getting all the dough off it. Another thing I was taught by my mom. You can make flour when you're done. You see all kind of dry flour down in the container. You must use the dough to clean everything around. And I have come to something about this. I've learned something. I would often see my mom doing this around like so she had cleaned the dough, the container. But I realized that while doing this, I am just giving the dough some extra. Look at this. She would do this. Clean the pan. And each time I do this, the dough would be more and more perfect. Look at this. So you want to get it right there. Very important too. You want to leave your dough to rest. I will work it out and don't go tired anymore. You want to leave it to rest and get some elasticity in. Cover it with a clean tea towel, however you want to cover it with. Right on over here, we had one that we had done ahead of time. This is the one that we just did. We had one that we had done ahead of time. Look at it. What does it look like, my girl? Look at it. You can't go wrong. It looks just almost like the bread the bread dough. Look at this. And this is how manageable this dough is. Look at this. My hands are not sticking. I'm yet to cut this clip, but I'll clip it now. Cut it now. And I catch you. I'm going to preheat my pot, which is Jessie, and I'll come back to you. I've been kneading, so I'm a little tired. So I'm back, and I have some oil in there in Jessie, and I'm preheating it on the medium. I don't want the oil to be hot, and I don't want it to be too cold. Temperature, I can't say no. I would have to work on that temperature for you. I would think probably about 160 there about, poor camera girl. 170 on a thermometer. Poor camera girl, I have no clue at the thermometer. Yeah, but 2 weeks back from in the old days, if we were thermometer here, just reasonably warm, not too hot. Your hand can stay there, not too cold. Alright? And I can turn my flame down a little bit. So if you don't have no thermometer, show them the flame, camera girl. Where we work on the flame there. Once you preheat it, if you preheat it on a high heat, you bring it down. Let us go. This dough is even more rested than I am. This is the make sure you perfect the dough. If the dough is not perfect, you don't blame them now perfect. Come on, family. What you put in is what you get out. You have got to perfect the dough. Let it become real pliable, just like a play dough. You can play a bone, you can stretch it, you can do all kind of something with it, and it remains soft. No, you break off a piece, and anything. You don't even have to do this. You break off a piece, and you can start rolling it. Back in the days, my mother would not roll and get any little balls. She would just do like this with her hand. Let me show you. When you see I do like this, I do like this and do it fast. This is what I'm simply doing. I'm folding it in. Look at this. Folding it. And the dough must not be sticking to your hand just like the bread. If you have not watched the bread video, go check it out. I'm going to leave the link in the description. It must not be too tough, parky, and stiff. And it must not be too soft. It must not be sticking to your hand. Some people say put some oil, put some flour. No, it has to go through that sticky process to make sure that it has been properly worked to stand the test of the cooking. You don't need to do that. You know, when you put in it, you're forcing, you're not working the dough, you're just trying to get your hands not sticky. But you're not paying any attention to the dough. So look here. Modern days people, they would have make some cute little something like this. So you don't want to make them too big. And all them look niceness there. Nice little hotel something. Can make it so if you like it. Into your oil. Look at that. Just little bubbles are forming there. So you don't want to go too much. Leave it at that. Let's make another one. Try not to take it too big. Make it to the size that you would like it. If you want them big, fine. Come back in the days that I make some big one too, you know. When your parents don't have time to sit down, you know, them, you know. So you make it to what you want it to suit your occasion. Because remember, the baking powder is in there and it's going to expand. Okay. Now, this is the back in the day one. That would fry before that one. So you want to put your hand, flat it out. And you take it, do all of that, like you boil it. Put it right in there beside that one. Look at the paste, that's what it's starting on. I'm going to get a few more in, and then I'll come back to you. Now, this is how your dumplings are starting to look. Because your baking powder is working, it's active. You can see that they're taking color from the bottom there. You see that? Yes. And these are the little round ones that I made, the cute ones. And then the other one, them that I still made round and flat out. See them there? So everybody is coming. Your baking powder is active. Look at the pace at which they are frying. Oh, Miss Debbie, why are they so close? Yes, fried dumpling love company. Them love cluster up on one another in a pot. Makes it even better, more moisture and all of that. So you don't need to fry them 1 mile apart and wait till one done or anything. The more you can put, if we had more dough too, we could put more dough in there. So we are waiting on them, we are watching them. Look at what we are frying them at. And you could cover too. I normally cover. I like to cover. Makes it so much more even soft. And I think I've showed you the covering one. That is so beautiful. It makes it so soft. But you can do it without covering. You don't get this thing done and too much of an eye eat. So you watch it. And as you think it's time, so look at it. Look at it. You see them? And when you think it's time that they are ready to turn, we'll come back. Remember to use a reasonable amount of oil. That will have them halfway down in there. You can deep fry them too. I'm not really curious about deep frying them. I'm not so curious about that one. Okay? But some people deep fry and they get it okay. I'm not sure. I'm not curious about deep frying. I like to fry it like this. And two, there are other ways of doing it. You can put butter. If you are the person that like the outside crispy and in the inside sort of soft, you have to put some butter in there. I am not a fan of the crispiness on the outside. I like it right through soft. So if you're somebody like that, just add some butter. So I'm going to wait until it's at the point where I can turn. You have to stay in close proximity. You can run every now and then and come back and prep. But once you're at that pace, they're frying, taking color slowly. That's what it is about. Making fried dumplings is not a fast, like express process. Okay, I'll come back to you. Let's turn. So you just put a knife, a fork. What's with me today? Today is not my working day. So you just want to turn them. You know, sometimes you have to turn some before some, but as you go, family, it's just a matter of just like, you know, my mother would say her first time, use up your little wheezy, you know, just use up your little, you know, say, but this one ready for turn, this one not ready for turn, it doesn't matter. But which is ready to turn, you're not going to make it stay there and burn, are you? No, I don't think so. So you just take your time very gently. You see how nice they're coming? Look at the pace at which they are frying at. We're not frying a fowl, you know, no? So you just fry it. And it's been cooked on the inside. They come out so light. Remember to make sure you use enough baking powder. Baking powder is at its fullest in strength. Yeah. Because let me tell you, I'm going to tell you something. If you make the dumpling at a special size, and you see it in the pot not rising, that is not going to be a good fried dumpling at all. It must start expanding in the pot. It's not supposed to be the same size, family. Once the heat takes it, the baking powder must start working. So if you put it in there and it come out the same little neat round size, you put it something, you have to go and fry it in some different something, you're going to have problems. So fried dumplings for me is not definitely that pretty, cute looking shape. It's for me texture, and oh, I am going to enjoy it. That's it for me. So remember, they're getting lighter now, you know. That's what is happening. You see them now behave themselves in the oil. They're getting lighter, but you can't make them rule. You can't have them around you, you run them. Okay, so we are going to do that. And I can tell you this process, it doesn't absorb a lot of oil. I'm telling you that. It does not absorb a lot of oil. And I'll prove that to you at the end. Next clip. Everybody's colored up now. What you can do at this point, did I tell you that I like to cover sometimes? What you can do at this point, they're all colored up. So you can check. If anybody wants an extra turn, don't try to. It's not soft there. I'm showing you. It's not soft. I'm not going to lie and tell you, oh, it's so soft and gentle here. No, it's not soft because it's still cooking. It's still in the oil. What I personally like to do at this stage is to get my flame down to the lowest on my stove. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to cover for about 5 minutes. When the 5 minutes is over, I'll come back to you. Now we're back, and I hope the camera is picking up that little sizzle in there. It's covered. That means it's building some steam, and you know the steam with the oil, what it does. So we're going to lift, and this is what is happening. So we're going to remove our dumplings to a container, but we're going to put a clean tea towel in your container. Your container, part of your tea towel, maybe half or so you can use, and towel if you so desire. But a clean tea towel is always better. You want to remove them. The hand towel or the tea towel will absorb. You can easily wash out your tea towel then back with hot water. and the grease will go. You want to remove them like this. What you want to do is just to fold over with your tea towel, cover them, and just leave them for another 10 minutes. When we return, we'll have our perfect, soft, nice, juicy fried dumplings. I'll catch you. We are back, family. They're still so hot. Proof of the fried dumpling. Wow. Wow, these are so hot. It's in the heating. Oh, look at these dumplings. Look at them. Proof of the fried dumpling. Look at this. It's in the heating. This is so hot. Let them cool down some more, family. Don't eat them at this point. Look at them. They are so hot. Let me show you with the towel. You can let them cool down a little more, family, because these are extremely still hot. But I just want to show you that these dumplings are the bomb. Why not eat a piece of fried dumpling? You can use this to, you can serve it. Bread flour has more gluten than all-purpose flour. Nice, succulent, juicy. Every single one. Well, family, these are hot. Look at this. You just open them, use them to mop up some of that color in that rundown sauce. Fried dumpling, it is finger food. You know, use knife and fork and fried dumpling. Make it your own. Soft, succulent, step-by-step fried dumpling method. Try it. Tell me how it goes. The cooler they become, the softer they are. If you have liked this video, remember to give it a big fat thumbs up. Remember to make sure you're subscribed to the Jamaican Cooking Journey. Press the notification bell. Press to the right there that says all. And then you'll be notified whenever I go live or upload another video. Look at our fried dumplings. Do it this way and you'll never have tough, chewy, parky, walkless fried dumpling no more. Be you, do you. Most of all, love you some of these succulent fried dumplings.